People often say eating plenty of fruits and vegetables is good for heart health, but in reality, 70% of Americans over 60 who eat enough fruits and vegetables daily still have a high risk of atherosclerosis, leading to a series of heart diseases and stroke risk. So why does this happen? In 35 years of practice, I've met too many patients who thought eating salad was enough, but they didn't know one simple thing. Not all fruits and vegetables have the same effect on blood vessels. Today, I'll show you a special nutrient lycopene. It has the ability to reduce arterial plaque by up to 70%, and why the way you eat it determines whether it works or not. This video is compiled from many scientific research sources and my clinical experience. If you have any questions or corrections, please comment below so we can discuss together. Last month, a 58-year-old patient came into my office holding his test results in his hand. His bad cholesterol, LDL, was at 180, high, dangerous. His doctor had prescribed statin, the most common cholesterol-lowering medication, but he was worried about side effects. He asked, "Doctor, is there any other way?" I opened the file, looked at the diet history section. He ate a lot of green vegetables, ate a lot of fruits, but no tomatoes. This wasn't the only case. Research shows that people with low lycopene levels in their blood have a 2.6 times higher risk of atherosclerosis compared to those with high levels. More than 60% of Americans over 50 have lycopene levels below optimal. That means 3 out of 5 people you know may be deficient in this substance without even knowing it. And I realized one thing. Most people don't know what lycopene is, where it comes from, and more importantly, how to get the body to absorb it most effectively. They eat raw tomatoes and salads and think they're doing it right, but the truth is much more complicated than that. But the question is, how does lycopene work in the body, and why is it so important for our blood vessels? How lycopene protects blood vessels. Lycopene is a carotenoid, a natural pigment with a red color, most concentrated in tomatoes. It doesn't convert to vitamin A like beta-carotene, but has another much more important ability: extremely powerful antioxidant properties. Imagine your blood vessels like water pipes in your house. When bad cholesterol, LDL, in the blood becomes oxidized, like iron rusting, it will stick to the blood vessel walls and form plaque. This is atherosclerosis. Over time, these plaques make blood vessels stiffen and narrow, like water pipes getting clogged with scale. Lycopene intervenes in this process at many steps. First, it prevents LDL from oxidizing in the first place. Second, it reduces inflammation in blood vessel walls by inhibiting inflammatory cytokines, molecules that signal the body to attack. Third, it prevents white blood cells from attaching to blood vessel walls, the first step in plaque formation. Just like when you apply a rust-resistant coating to an iron gate, lycopene creates a protective layer for cholesterol and blood vessel walls. A study in mice showed that after just 4 weeks of lycopene supplementation, the amount of cholesterol ester, the form of cholesterol that accumulates in plaque, decreased significantly in the aorta. This means in daily life, if you maintain stable lycopene levels in your blood, you're slowing the rate of plaque formation. You're extending the lifespan of your blood vessels. You're protecting yourself from stroke and heart attack. But the question is, how do you get enough lycopene in your body? Why raw tomatoes are not effective? People often think eating raw tomatoes and salads is the best way to supplement lycopene. Sounds logical, right? Fresh food is always better than processed. But with lycopene, this rule doesn't apply. I understand why people believe this. We're taught that cooking destroys vitamins. With vitamin C, that's true. But lycopene is a completely different molecule. Research shows the human body only absorbs about 5% of lycopene from raw tomatoes. Sounds pretty small, right? But when you cook tomatoes, especially processing them into sauce or paste, the absorption rate increases 8.5 times. With some special tomatoes like tangerine tomatoes, this number can go up to 47%. Why? In raw tomatoes, lycopene exists in an all-trans crystalline form, meaning the molecule has a straight, rigid structure. When you cook tomatoes at high temperature, about 260 degrees Fahrenheit or 127 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes, the heat changes the molecular structure to cis-lycopene form, the bent form. This form dissolves more easily in fat and is absorbed much more effectively by the small intestine. This myth persists because the fresh food marketing industry is very strong. Farm to table, fresh is best. These slogans aren't wrong, but they don't apply to all nutrients. With lycopene, processed is actually better than fresh. The impact of believing this myth? You could eat tomatoes every day in salad and think you're protecting your heart, but in reality, your body is only receiving a small fraction of the benefits. You're missing 90% of lycopene's potential. And there's something even more important. Not just cooking, but what you eat with tomatoes. The role of fat. Lycopene is a fat-loving molecule, meaning it only dissolves in fat, not in water. This is something very few people know, but is extremely important. When you eat tomatoes without accompanying fat, lycopene cannot be absorbed through the intestinal wall. It simply passes through the digestive system and exits. Just like trying to dissolve oil in water. It doesn't happen. Research from Ohio State University shows that when you eat tomatoes with olive oil, lycopene absorption rate increases 82% compared to eating tomatoes alone. The mechanism here is that lycopene needs to be packaged into micelles, small structures created from fat and bile salts to be able to pass through the intestinal membrane into the blood. This is why the Mediterranean region, where people cook tomato sauce with olive oil, has much lower rates of heart disease compared to other regions. They accidentally did two things right, cooking tomatoes and combining them with healthy fats. A clinical study on 50 heart failure patients showed that after 8 weeks of supplementing 25 milligrams of lycopene per day, the FMD index, flow-mediated dilation, which measures blood vessel expansion ability, increased from 2.95% to 5.68%. This is a significant improvement in endothelial function, the cell layer lining the inside of blood vessels. Healthy endothelium is the foundation of healthy blood vessels. In practice, what does this mean? If you eat pizza with tomato sauce that has olive oil, you're absorbing lycopene much better than eating cherry tomatoes in salad without dressing. If you cook tomato soup with a little oil, you're optimizing the benefits. Actually, knowing these things, we can make smarter choices about lycopene sources and preparation methods. But which source is best? Lycopene sources. Food versus supplements. There are two schools of thought when it comes to supplementing lycopene. The first school believes in whole food, eating tomatoes and lycopene-rich natural foods. Their reasoning is that whole foods contain many compounds besides lycopene, vitamin C, E, flavonoids, potassium, all working together, creating a synergy effect. One tomato doesn't just have lycopene, but also has an entire army of nutrients supporting each other. The advantage is you receive comprehensive benefits, not just one isolated substance. The disadvantage? To achieve optimal lycopene dose, 15 to 25 milligrams per day, you need to eat a large amount of tomatoes or tomato products, something not everyone can do daily. The second school supports supplements, pure lycopene tablets. Their reasoning is convenience, accurate dosage, no need to worry about preparation or eating with fat. Modern supplements have been engineered to increase absorption. The advantage is easy dose control and long-term compliance. The disadvantage? Some studies show that lycopene effectiveness from supplements doesn't exceed that from tomato paste when both are eaten with fat. Moreover, you miss out on other nutrients in whole foods. After hearing these two, it seems like one side wins and one loses. But reality is more complex. In my 35 years of experience, the answer isn't either or, but both and depending on the situation. If you're a healthy person wanting prevention, eating lycopene-rich foods like tomato sauce, olive oil, and watermelon is the best path. You receive not just lycopene, but an entire nutritional package. Clinical research shows that 126 grams of spaghetti sauce containing about 39 milligrams of lycopene eaten daily for 12 weeks significantly improves inflammation and oxidation markers. But if you already have cardiovascular disease, low lycopene levels in blood below 0.5 micromoles per liter, or can't eat enough food daily, supplements are a reasonable choice. A dose of 15 to 25 milligrams per day for 2 to 3 months has shown effectiveness in many studies. The important thing is to take it with a meal containing fat. Don't take tablets with plain water. One more thing, not all supplements are the same. Supplements containing cis-lycopene, the bent form, are absorbed better than all trans-lycopene. Read labels and choose products with clear origins. Actually, both methods have value. What's important is understanding what your body needs and which method you can comply with. Understanding the cellular level. To understand why lycopene is so effective, we need to look deeper at what happens at the cellular level. When atherosclerotic plaque forms, it's not simply cholesterol sticking to vessel walls. It's a complex inflammatory process. Endothelial cells get activated by oxidized LDL. They start producing adhesion molecules like ICAM1 and VCAM1. These molecules are like mouse traps. They capture passing white blood cells called monocytes, pulling them into the blood vessel wall. There, monocytes transform into macrophages, the carnivores that swallow oxidized cholesterol and become foam cells, the main component of plaque. Lycopene intervenes in this reaction chain at many points. It inhibits NF-kappa B, a protein that controls inflammatory genes. When NF-kappa B is turned off, the body produces fewer inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-6. It also reduces expression of cyclooxygenase 2, COX-2, an enzyme that creates inflammatory substances. This isn't a simple process of eat lycopene, reduce inflammation, get healthy. Effectiveness depends on many factors: lycopene concentration in blood, maintenance time, your initial inflammatory state, and most importantly, the presence of other antioxidants in the body. The human body doesn't work on a one-pill cures everything basis. Lycopene works most effectively when combined with vitamin E, C, and other carotenoids. A study on ApoE knockout mice, an atherosclerosis model, showed that after 20 weeks of lycopene supplementation, not only did plaque size decrease 50%, but plaque structure also became more stable, less likely to rupture and cause heart attack. Lycopene increases collagen in plaque, making them more resilient. This is an important discovery because plaque rupture, not plaque size, is the main cause of stroke and heart attack. But the interesting point is, in humans, effectiveness isn't always uniform. Some people absorb lycopene better than others. Genetic differences, gut microbiota, and fat metabolism ability all have an impact. That's why one person eating the same amount of tomatoes as another can have blood lycopene levels that differ by 3 to 4 times. This means in decision making, you can't apply a one-size-fits-all formula. Practical solutions. Depending on your current health status, there are 3 different scenarios to optimize lycopene. Scenario 1, prevention for healthy people. If you don't have cardiovascular disease, cholesterol is within normal limits. LDL less than 130 milligrams per deciliter, blood pressure is stable. Here's how to protect blood vessels long term. Eat cooked tomato sauce 3 to 4 times per week, each time about 100 to 150 grams, about half a cup. Simple method: blend fresh tomatoes, cook with 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil at medium temperature for 20 to 30 minutes. Add garlic, onion, oregano to enhance flavor and antioxidants. One serving like this provides about 10 to 15 milligrams of lycopene, enough to maintain optimal blood levels. Supplement with red watermelon 2 to 3 times per week. A 2-cup serving of watermelon provides 12.7 milligrams of lycopene. The advantage of watermelon is that lycopene is already in a more absorbable form than raw tomatoes, though still not as good as cooked tomatoes. Add cherry tomatoes to salad, but remember to have oil-containing dressing, olive oil, avocado oil, or ground nuts. Don't eat tomatoes with fat-free dressing. You'll waste the lycopene. After 4 to 6 weeks of regular eating, blood lycopene levels will increase significantly. After 12 weeks, inflammatory markers like hsCRP can decrease 15 to 20%. Checkpoint: blood test every 6 months to monitor cholesterol and carotenoid panel if possible. Scenario 2, moderate risk for people with risk factors. If you have LDL cholesterol 130 to 160 milligrams per deciliter, borderline high blood pressure 130 to 139 over 80 to 89 millimeters of mercury, family history of heart disease, or have passed 55 years old, you need a more aggressive strategy. Eat cooked tomato sauce daily. Increase to 150 to 200 grams per day, about 3/4 cup to reach the goal of 15 to 20 milligrams of lycopene from food. Cook Mediterranean style. Olive oil, San Marzano or Roma tomatoes richer in lycopene. Cook long at low temperature. Eat with salmon or mackerel twice per week to combine omega-3, synergy effect protecting the heart. Light aerobic exercise, 30 minutes per day, 5 days per week. Brisk walking, swimming, cycling. Exercise helps increase HDL good cholesterol and improves endothelial function, making lycopene work more effectively. Consider supplement if you can't eat enough food. 10 to 15 milligrams of lycopene per day. Take with main meal containing fat lunch or dinner. Choose supplements that clearly state cis lycopene or from tomato extract on the label. Avoid taking supplements on an empty stomach. Effectiveness will decrease 60 to 70%. Red flags to see a doctor. If LDL increases above 160 milligrams per deciliter after 3 months of dietary changes, chest pain during exertion, frequent dizziness, don't self-treat, need medical intervention. After 8 to 12 weeks, markers like triglycerides can decrease 10 to 15%. Endothelial function FMD improves noticeably after 2 to 3 months. Blood test every 3 months to monitor progress. Scenario 3, high risk for people with cardiovascular disease. If you've been diagnosed with atherosclerosis, heart failure, have had stroke or heart attack, or LDL above 160 milligrams per deciliter, lycopene is a supplementary part, not a replacement for medical treatment. Comply with doctor-prescribed medications, statin, blood pressure medication, aspirin if indicated. Don't arbitrarily stop medication to try natural treatment. Lycopene supplements doesn't replace. Lycopene supplement 15 to 25 milligrams per day under doctor supervision. Some medications may interact with carotenoids like orlistat, weight loss drug. Need to discuss with doctor before use. Combine with strict Mediterranean diet. Lots of vegetables, fish, olive oil, limit red meat, and sugar. Do cardiac rehabilitation if doctor recommends. Lycopene improves heart recovery ability after damage. This is a long-term journey. Don't expect to cure in a few weeks. The goal is to stabilize the condition, prevent further progression. Blood test every 1 to 2 months. Closely monitor with cardiologist. Realistic expectations. Lycopene isn't a miracle pill. It's part of a comprehensive strategy. Combined correctly, it can reduce 15 to 20% risk of cardiovascular events over 5 years. But you must persevere. Must change lifestyle. There are no shortcuts. In the end, the most important thing you need to remember is lycopene isn't a superfood hype, but a nutrient with a solid scientific foundation behind it. But for it to work, you need to understand how the body absorbs it, cook it, combine it with healthy fats, and persistently maintain it. We live in an era where cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death, but not because we lack knowledge. Lycopene is available, cheap, easy to find in every tomato, every piece of watermelon. But most people eat it wrong and waste its potential. Health doesn't come from complex, expensive things. It comes from the right choices every day. Right now, you can start with one simple thing. Next time you cook, instead of putting raw tomatoes in salad, cook them into sauce with a little olive oil. This small change can increase 8 times the amount of lycopene your body absorbs. From small changes, long-term health is built. Have you tried supplementing lycopene? Which way do you find easiest to implement? Eating food or using supplements? Please share your experiences in the comments below. I really want to know your stories. I'm Dr. Saul Whitman. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next important medical knowledge. See you in the next video.